This is what my edges look like without any product on it and without any edge control on it. The first thing that we're going to do is grab our edge control. The edge control that I'm going to be using is Style Factor Edge Booster. I'll be using the extra strength version made for thick and coarse hair. Next, you're going to need an edge brush, and I highly recommend getting this instead of using a toothbrush. Sometimes a toothbrush is just way too soft. And then on top of that, you'll need an extra tool like a rat tail comb, when you can just get one edge brush with multiple features to it. Finally, you want to get a dime size amount of edge control on your finger that you'll be putting along your edges. I like to create a base around my hairline with the edge control. So instead of slicking my hair backwards with the edge control, I like to slick my hairline forward with the edge control because that is how the edges will lay. Now that we have the base of our hairline laid down, I like to use the comb part of the edge control brush just because I feel like I have way more control with the comb. It lays it down more smoothly because as I'm creating that wave, it's combing through my curls to create a smooth swoop and finish. Notice how every time I go in to create that desired sideburn, I am using my finger. Your finger is going to be a very important key element into shaping your wave. The wave is that swoop that I create in the front. So notice how I'm using my finger. You're going to comb down and shape your hair with the edge control brush, but then your finger is going to hold the hair in place while you style your edges. If the tips and tricks in this video is helping you right now, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and continue watching for more tips and tricks along the way. I typically like to start on one side first and then stop right before I get to the middle. And then I switch over to the other side and I'll figure out what I'm going to do to the middle once I get to the top of my head. The reason why I do this is because I like that off-centered edge look. I don't really like putting a part in the center of my forehead and then having all my edges aligned on both sides. I kind of like it off balance so that it can look more natural. As you can see, I am constantly manipulating my edge just so that it can lay the way that I want to. I feel like a lot of people who struggle with doing their edges, they think that it's just a one and done process and that it's just one swoop and then you're done. If you really want your edges to lay, you have to manipulate your hair, and you're basically doing a finger wave but just on the front of your hairline. So another thing that can help you with laying down edges is just watching finger wave tutorials. Literally, you're just creating the first wave instead of constantly creating multiple waves within one section of your hair. And as you can see, the reason why I like to use the comb part of an edge control brush is because it's so small. I could squeeze up in there. I can part off the hair that I don't want to use in my section. And I like to take the front of the comb to create a defined line. Something that you would do with a rat tail, but except I'm doing it with the comb. I'm just swooping and then I create those sharp edges so that my edges can have more definition to them. And remember, another way to create an enhanced edge and get that laid and slayed effect, you can go ahead over it with your comb or your brush to round out the edges, make sure there's no holes or gaps, and keep it nice and sleek and smooth. Don't forget that you can always grab more edge control and add it to your hair if you feel like you need more to lay it down. Just don't go overboard with it and use your whole container because you're just going to create unnecessary product buildup, and it will be harder for you to manipulate your hair if there's just too much product covering it. All right, so now that we're at the top, this is where we're going to finish our edges off and bring the left and right side together. So once again, I like an off-center part at the top because I personally think that it just looks more natural if there's no line of symmetry in the middle of my forehead. But once again, this is all about preference only. You do not have to do your edges exactly like mine. I'm just basically telling you the foundations of how to lay your edges and what my techniques are. If I have any stragglers or any long pieces of hair that I don't want to sit in the front of my hairline, I'll just comb it back into my hair. In this case, I'm wearing twists, so I just comb it back into my twists and tuck it behind one of the twists. If I'm wearing my locks, I just blend it in with my retwist, or if I have my hair pulled back in a ponytail, I just blend it in with all the hair that's going back into the ponytail. As you can see, there are a few imperfections in my edges that I am noticing. So once you have all of your edges laid in place, you can go back in and tidy them up and get them laid exactly uniformly how you like so. So I'm going back in, adding in some edge control to some dry spots or to some spots where I feel like the hair isn't holding to my standard. I'm swooping my hair, blending in spaces and gaps that I might have missed. And I'm blending in the stragglers in between my twists so that it can be more laid and defined. As you can see, I'm laying some edge control in some dry spots just so it can look more sleek and put together instead of separate and disproportionate. Here is the completed and final look of my edges. They are so bomb. I love them so much, and I hope that you love them too. If you love this tutorial, go ahead and drop some purple hearts in the comments so that I can know. And don't forget to like and subscribe to continue seeing videos like this.